And now, Gerald, the head of the G20, the French minister, came out and said dump the dollar a month ago, Hu Jintao. And now that consensus is there to go ahead and get rid of the dollar in the next year or so as the world reserve currency. But like cockroaches, when they've been sprayed with poison, you know, they start running around even faster. The system is even flooding the world even that much faster. And we see inflation rearing its head here, which hurts people on fixed incomes, you name it. I mean, any way you slice it, this is going to be a disaster.
It is. Oh, by the way, there's no inflation. Look at all those people out there that haven't gotten COLA increases. You know, this is I was on Judge Napolitano's show. He's one of my favorites last week. I said, this is the USSA. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. How could you say there's no inflation? You know, and it began under Clinton, and they keep the lie going. There's rampant inflation. Anybody that works and pays for things every day. Again, not the billionaires and the multimillionaires. You know, they don't know what the price of a gallon of gasoline is. So what we're seeing here is insidious inflation. And by the way, the Europeans are as responsible for this as the American central bank. They're doing the same thing. They're flooding the market with cheap money. Because, again, I mean, I'm not making this stuff up. Go to Bloomberg. It's even there today. They're worried about the financiers getting haircuts. I mean, so they're flooding more money into the system.
And the big central banks are making record profits. What do you think about Ron Paul, shifting gears, going into this year's election? He won the CPAC poll 2 years in a row. They re-aired an old video of him being booed and played it on Fox and said that that's what happened this year when he won. I mean, this was a hoax that they ran. They are really scared of him.
You know, I've been getting some emails from young people who attended that, actually. And one of them was very insightful, saying how the young people really don't like the Republican Party at all, and they're really Ron Paul supporters. And that's what the core of this country is moving toward. As a matter of fact, you've heard me say the phrase before, progressive libertarian. And a matter of fact, Judge Andrew Napolitano had on Ron Paul and Ralph Nader. He told me it was he got more responses from that show just about from any other one. That's the direction. Progressive in terms of the environment. Oh, by the way, all you Obama lovers, you wimpocrats out there, you know, you quiche-eating, grinning, Obama and balsamic smile people, Obama's cutting the EPA budget by an estimated 30%. How's that for some more change you can't believe in? So what we're seeing is the revolution is going to come from these educated young people who want to become involved, and they are the Ron Paul supporters. I'll tell you, my dream ticket would be a Ron Paul, someone like a Ralph Nader, and a Secretary of State like a Judge Andrew Napolitano. I'm on a lot of shows, as you well know, Alex. I respect him more than, and on the mainstream media I'm talking about, I respect him more than anybody. He says it like it is.
Yeah, he said on this show that the 9/11 official story is a fraud. And, boy, that caused quite a furor. We're going to come back with final ideas and points with the one, the only Gerald Celente. All right, it's our final segment with Gerald Celente joining us. Gerald, Obama last week went ahead and expanded the Security Prosperity Partnership, North American Union, to say we have a continental security perimeter using the crises in Mexico they've engineered. We see just continued evidence of the Depression unfolding. In the last 4 minutes or so that we have left, what else do you think is most important on your radar screen, or what other tidbits do you want to impart to folks right now?
Well, this is really a time to be vigilant. Something we believe is going to happen of a very large magnitude. Again, we're not alarmists and we're not Monday morning quarterbacks. We call the shots before they happen with these riots that are now taking place in Tunisia and Egypt. We said it, that it would be young people, it would be, and we said, and this time the revolution will not only be televised, it'll be Twittered, Facebooked, and YouTubed. And so people really need to know, watch what's going on very closely. And in going back to the Obama lie, and again, your Obama deception, well, that documentary should win awards. because you really nailed it so early on. And anybody that hasn't seen that, I really highly recommend that they show it to everyone that they know who still believes in the great lie. And here's another part of the great lie. When Obama became president, he said that they've earmarked $2 trillion worth of savings that they saw in the federal budget. Well, obviously, they never came through with that because they weren't there. And then they said, according to the Congressional Budget Office in 2009, that do you know what the deficit would be in 2011, according to their projections? $500 billion. What is it? Oh, it's estimated to be $1.6 trillion. So the lies that are coming out right in front of our face are beyond the belief of anything that you could make up. And as I said, what we're most concerned about now is something is going to happen, a real, it's either going to be a terrorism or a call to war at some level. And by the way, I only saw it once. I haven't had time to follow up on it, about Petraeus leaving Afghanistan. Is that true?
Well, there's calls for them to try to start pulling out and perhaps removing Petraeus.
No, but Petraeus himself leaving.
I haven't confirmed that, no.
Oh, because I saw something come across on that. And if the point that I'm making is that these are losing wars. They're losing in Pakistan in that CIA drone war. They're losing in Afghanistan. And there's no end in sight in Iraq. Something we believe is going to happen. So what I'm saying is that I believe when it does happen, they're going to close down the banks. And they closed down Wall Street when 9/11 happened. This time there's going to be a run on cash, run on ATM. So I would just suggest to people that, you know, have your e-foods, have your survival gear in place, because if the worst does, and have money on hand, and have you know, I believe in gold, as you know.
So you're saying this depression could really accelerate and become a complete meltdown?
Yes, that's all they need. That's all we need now is a geopolitical flashpoint, and this thing unravels, bam, the bottom falls out. So what I'm saying is that if the worst doesn't happen, at least you're prepared.
Absolutely. In closing, David Petraeus quitting. The Times of London is reporting that he is going to be stepping down sometime near the end of the year, but now the Pentagon is denying that. So who knows what the truth is, Gerald?
Who knows what the truth is? And so the point being, if you don't prepare now, you could lose everything. The stock market is a rigged game. Only little kids believe that they could play it and win it. Because with the high-frequency trading, the dark pools, everybody knows what's going on and watching it.
Absolutely. Trendsresearch.com. Our site's Infowars.com. Thank you, Gerald.